Hello there, everyone. TheAndrata here, and welcome back to episode 113 of our Enigmatica 6 Expert Let's Play series, where today we are working on some astral sorcery, some Betania, and having some fun with all kinds of magic. So let's get started. Welcome back, my friends, to another wonderful day here in the world of TheAndrata Enigmatica 6 Expert Pack, where today we are going to be working towards some Betania progress. Time to get back into a little bit of magic. We've done quite a bit of tech the past couple episodes and everything, so it's time to get back into some magic, make some progression there, and kind of sort of get going in that regard. Our next major goal, if we take a look at our to-do list here, is well, in the vein of magic. Hey, look, our golem is there, destroyed that Enderman. Check that out. Yeah, get out of our territory. Good job. You deserve a raise. Anyway, our next major thing that we're going to need in this pack to automate is going to be our weak blood shards, right? I believe I have 2 available to me. Weak blood shards. That's it. Once we're out of those, I have no more Afrit essence. I have no more anything. You can see I have some foundations of stuff set up to automate crafting of this, but we're not there yet, and we're not ready to talk about it yet. But weak blood shards is our next goal, because we need these in order to do a lot of crafting, specifically for like runes. All these runes require them, and the nitro crystals, and there's quite a few things that are requiring nitro crystals that are current at the moment. Like, we need these right now to make specifically nitro capacitors. Apparently the immolation blade, which is a pretty cool item, this guy cuts the heads off of withers, I believe, if I remember correctly, sets things on fire, does cool things. But yeah, like, nitro crystals are used for a lot of the crafting recipes that we're coming up across right now, and we just don't have them. Like, we need them. Okay, that's it. We need them. I'm not going to justify why I need them. I just need them. So I kind of am seeing that we don't have all of our stuff. So let's go ahead and pop into our thing over her, pop into here and hit the button so that everything recycles. Turn back on. Boop, we're good. Yeah, it's annoying, but it works. It does what it does. Okay. In between episodes, I didn't do terribly too much. I figured it was time for me to make a matter receiver and get this thing going. If you don't know what the matter receiver is, we automated them already. We just never set any of them up. We had to automate them for the production of our network receivers and everything. But the matter receiver is a teleportation platform. Super simple to make. Portal frames, we already have these going because we needed them for our these guys, I believe. It was for something. We had them automated for some reason, maybe the portal controller, the builder, the black hole controller, something needed these. I don't remember. They were already automated. I didn't have to do anything fancy with them. Portal frames, yellow stained glass, a stable wormhole, which you've seen the automation for that, and a pity machine frame. Super simple. And what you do is you can, you have to give it power. So right below this is a basic power thingy-mabooby. This guy here, the Endergate basic. Super cheap, simple to make. Outputs 1.4 thousand RF per tick, just enough for this guy to operate. And if we take a look in here, you can name it, give it your access, and you can do the thing. In order to use this, though, you're going to need one of 2 things. You're going to need what's known as a charged porter or a matter dialer, matter transmitter. Yep, matter transmitter, and then a dialing device. This is kind of sort of the beginning teleportation setup. The dialing device along with the matter transmitter, you can set it up like over here at your base and everything. You dial to your teleportation and then you step on the transmitter, boop, and it lets you go. The preferable way, though, is with something like a charged porter, which is this bad boy here, which allows you to set targets. You can teleport to different places without having to dial manually or go somewhere. It's portable teleportation. Okay, it's fancy pantsy. Super simple. The crafting recipe is cheap. It's nitro capacitors again. That's why I have only 2 blood shards. We're literally like scraping the barrel for our nitro shard crystals and everything, because this uses an entire crafting process of them essentially. So yeah, nitro capacitors and dimensional storage crystals, and then the charge porter itself is fairly simple. All stuff that is easily automatable. A graphics card needed to draw vector graphics, which is just heat sinks and stuff, and then a network card, which is just range upgrades and things. So Super simple to make. And it's really nifty. We can be over here. I can click this. We teleport back. And it's cross-dimensional. So if we pop over to our end islands here, which is the only other place I've set up a matter receiver at, we have a end island set up. And this is where eventually, well, I was going to say we'll eventually over here, we're going to set up a wither killer and get nether stars automated, but that's for later. Over here, what I have is a couple different setups. So we have a network receiver that is pushing out to a couple different modular routers. In my crafting processes, I've been needing to automate chromatic compounds. That's the shadow steel version. Or I'm sorry, we're automating shadow steel with chromatic compound. That is the void version of the radiance stuff that we have up at home that we're automating on our beacon above our home. We now have shadow steel automated. Bam. And I think I have, 66. So we have a stack of it available in the system at all times, and we have a detector turning it off. Over here, we have automated glass bottles, which gets us ender air. Perfect. Ender air goes into there, and I think I have 256 of those. Yeah. So glass bottles just come, and all these are, this one specifically is an activator, so it just right clicks the glass bottle into the air, gets an ender air bottle, and then gets vacuumed up and then gets sucked back into the system. Same thing over here. This is a dropper, which is dropping the chromatic compound, because remember, we just drop chromatic compound into the void, it floats back up, and we just vacuum it up. Bam. And then over here, we have a problem. This one doesn't work, unfortunately. My idea here was to automate, as you can see, Nature's Aura, bottle and cork. I wanted to automate the bottled darkness, I think it is. Yeah, because in order to make bottled darkness, you just, in the end, right click, and you get bottled darkness. The problem is, from what I understand with this setup, is that we're using an activator here, and it actually is doing the thing, kinda. The way that it works is it actually replaces the item in your inventory, right? So when I right click this, it's replacing this item. It's not dropping it into the world or anything. Like I don't know if the ender air bottles do the same, but let's get a regular bottle. Yeah, see, look, that turned into an item, and then my magnet picked it up and put it in here. This is actually replacing the cork for bottled darkness. It's not creating a bottled darkness and then dropping it in the world like the ender air does. And so what happens is the router doesn't know what to do with that. It's activating, it's trying to replace the item as bottled darkness, and it can't. It doesn't work. And so this actually, it will never work. You cannot use a modular router for this setup because of the way that this bottled darkness actually does the thing. And it's the same thing with bottled ghosts and bottled whatever's at home, bottled sunlight, I think it is. So we can't do the thing, unfortunately, with those. Those are manual processes, and I don't think there's any way to automate those. If anybody knows, let me know. But as far as I know, there's no way to automate those. I trolled through the GitHub, I trolled through Discord, I trolled through the internet at large, could not find anything. So yeah, that's where we're at. But anyway, we got these guys going. So if we need shadow steel and stuff, we got it set up. And then we have our network over here so that when we do get a wither builder / killer for nether stars, you know, we're prepped and ready to go for that. So then we can just, you know, dial back home, shift right click, dial home, boop. And now we're back home. So yeah, that's the basics of all of that. The only other thing we did last episode was set up our HDPE sheets. And yes, I understand. I know that this setup is way more complicated than it needed to be. Little lag spike going on here. These are becoming way more frequent in this pack, by the way, as we are getting a lot of stuff done. We're getting a lot more lag spikes than I generally like to deal with. So it's getting slightly frustrating. I need to figure out what's causing it. We'll figure it out. But anyway, I know that this setup is way more complicated than it needs to be, but I like to break it down for you guys. Yes, you can set it up in like a U shape and have everything. You don't need XNet at all. You can have everything pass the items to each other, and you don't have to, you know, let XNet handle all this. But I like to show you how every single thing works and alternatives, right? There are other ways to do things. XNet can handle things. It's the first time we've seen XNet's mechanism gas distribution and everything. And so, yes, complicated, but usable. Makes sense? Okay. So last episode we left off and we got the HDPE so that we can make our tier upgrades. HDPE sheets, we have 687 of them. I don't think I intended to make that much, did I? Oh, I did. 512. Okay. So yeah, I intended to make that much. And now this whole setup is, you know, shut off. We're not doing anything because it doesn't need to input anything into the system. It's working perfect. We do have upgrades on here. One thing to note, if you are going to follow along with how I have this set up, I had to go through and change all of my universal cables on these little power antennas to extract power from the ender gate. If I did not do that, we lost power. It for some reason, XNet couldn't pull out of this fast enough, or the ender gate couldn't push into this pipe fast enough. And when I had my processing over here for my infusing factories, because when I upgraded these, these get a larger buffer, so it had to make a bunch of these. We lost power over here completely. It could not keep up with the amount of power that these guys were using, because when this process is running, it takes quite a lot of power to make these things overall. And yeah, this couldn't keep up, but setting it to extract power from there solved the problem. Got it? So I did that to all of them in all of our compact machines, so we're good to go now. So today what I want to work on is Betania. We're going to get started with a little bit of Betania automation, a couple things, so that way we can take care of getting things going. So let's pop over to our Betania area. Well, before we go outside and it starts raining, let's talk about what we're going to do. So the first thing that I want to do is, well, our next major steps here in Betania are to get the Gaia pylon and fight the Gaia Guardian. We need Gaia spirits to start with, right? So Gaia spirits. We need Gaia spirits so we can use them for crafting. Now there is the Gaia reactor, which can make these for you using RF, memory essence, liquid starlight, and pressure. As far as I know, these numbers are like per tick, by the way. If I was reading my comments correctly, these are per tick, so that's a lot. We'll see when we get to that point, but as far as I know, that is the way that it is. A lot of power, a lot of stuff. But anyway, Gaia spirits. You get Gaia spirits normally by fighting the Gaia Guardian. That's what his name is. So that's what we need to do. We need to get Gaia pylons, fight the Gaia Guardian manually. If we go to Betania down here, we have a whole quest chain for this. The Gaia Arena. We're going to get Gaia, fight the Guardian of Gaia. We're going to get a whole bunch of stuff out of this. But we basically need to get these things, so that way we can start getting these things, so we can start doing things with these things. Does that make sense? Mainly right now, my goal, I want to get like the mana infuser and get this set up so we can get Terra Steel for cheaper. And then we need to get ourselves a mob duplicator so we can get our weak blood shard automation set up. This is kind of our bottleneck, because we need to be able to duplicate camels. We need camels to be in this system. In order to do that, we need a life aggregator, which is going to require 4 Gaia spirits. Okay, so that's where we're at. That's our goal. Get this. Our goal is this. We got to do all this to get to it. So the first thing that I want to do is, if it's nighttime sleep, it is not. Okay. I was hoping that we could avoid this rain, but it's okay. The first thing we need to do is automate our Alpine Portal here. I don't want to have to come over here and manually make these things when we need to, these few things. So we're going to automate this whole setup process here. And it's not going to be terribly too difficult. I have everything that we're going to need here for it. So basically all we're going to do is we're going to set up 2 routers. We're going to set up one here and one here. The first router is going to have a dropper module installed into it, and then it's going to drop items into this, and that's where we're going to hook up our crafter. And then we have refined storage powered or access somewhere around here, so we'll chase it down. I did shrink my backpack, by the way, so that way, or my tool belt, since we have like all this other stuff going on, and we have a pack, so we didn't need the ads and everything like that, and we now have a jetpack. I don't need the I didn't need the gunpowder in there, so I just took off all the loops, so that way we just have the quick swap for our morphing tool, and then I don't have to worry about things getting all mixed up. So we have our iron crafter. I forgot, I'm also going to want an importer. That's going to import from the bottom router, which is going to have a vacuum module. And yes, I know I can probably set this up in one vacuum to drop. If it does something, then vacuum up. But you know what? Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, this does have a delay. We're going to have to filter this, aren't we? Yeah, we're going to have to filter that. Filter from router. Yeah, let's make the bulk item filter. That way I can filter out these outputs, because we're going to need to eventually filter them out. But anyway, so what we're going to have go in here is going to be Elementium, Mana Pearl, Mana Diamonds, Dreamwood, mana glass, and elven quartz. The big thing is right now our elementium is going to be made using infused sunmetal ingots. I do eventually want to switch this over to the elven honeycomb version of these. That way it's a little cheaper. We need to get an elven bee though. Getting the elven bee is fairly simple. It is just a mana bee thrown into our portal. So we need to do that. And a mana bee, I believe, was an iron bee thrown into a mana pool. Do I have any iron bees chilling out with me? Iron bee. How about bee? Yeah, I have an iron bee here. It just didn't want to show up. So like if we just do this. Oh, probably the creation catalyst. It probably needs the catalyst. Go. No. Interesting. Yeah, I did this before. Iron bee in with a mana bee. Nothing fancy about the mana pool. These mana pools aren't fancy or anything. Do it. I have a mana bee going. Why is this being funky? This is not my first rodeo here, buddy. Like, we literally have mana honeycombs being processed. I did this before. Why no want to work? Well, I'll figure that out later, I guess. Maybe there's something up with this iron bee. This bee was stacked with another one, which isn't normal. It may have been a quest reward bee, so maybe this guy doesn't have any NBT data, so maybe I need to let him go. That's what it was. You know what? Look at me, being smart. And then if I just throw them over there, there we go. Now we got the elven bee. Okay, NBT data is needed. We're also going to set this vacuum module up here with range down augment, so it can only vacuum up in this area. That is 2 range down, so it has a range now of 2. So it should only pick up anything from this area. And then we need to run refined over to this. But basically what it's going to do is items are going to pump into here. This is going to drop them into the portal. This guy's going to pick them up and then get imported back into our system. And there should be, yeah, I was going to say refined should be right around here. Okay, so now if I say I want elementium ingots, now I do have some, but I want to craft 1. Oh, and I need to set the dropper to drop to the front. Yeah. Can a crafter not pump straight into a modular router? Have we dealt with this situation before? I don't know if I ever mentioned this, but I made the wireless crafting monitor, so I didn't ever have to go back up to my base and do this. I guess it can't. Let's get a polar. And we're just going to get a barrel. I think we've run into this situation before, and I forgot about it. Crafter. There we go. And then cable. Oh, and all those patterns ended up getting sucked up, didn't they? Nether quartz to elven. That's polar module automation whenever we can get to that. Yeah, I had to manually make all those. It's quite painful, actually. Hey, did you pick up anything? No. Was that everything? Elementium, pixie dust, dragonstone, dreamwood, alpha glass, elven quartz. Okay, so now if I ask for elementium, it should dump it into the chest. Yes, and then we can get the polar. And you can just pull from the back. It did it. I guess it did it. I didn't have to filter that out, did I? I didn't have to do anything, really. I don't need that many. Let's just do I just want to validate that it's going to work. Come on. Let's do the elven quartz then. I want to just do something that gives me I have a lot of, so that I can see that it's gonna. Can I get out, please? Because I don't see it doing anything, but it seems to be working. Yeah, things are popping in here. Okay. I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to complain if it works. I mean, I would like to filter this eventually, but it's fast enough that it's not getting sucked in. I guess because I don't have any vacuum or speed modules on this or anything, it's not going to pick it up before it gets converted. Whatever. I'll keep this. We'll automate it. Oh, I'll do the filtering just to be safe in the future. But for now, we don't have to worry about it. I like that. Torches can go in there. Yeah, okay, so that is automated portalizing, so we can get rid of all of these things off of our to-do list. And then our next steps here are to get into a little bit of astral sorcery, right? Because in order to get our Gaia pylons, we're going to need to make Natura pylons. We now just automated the Elementium and the Pixie Dust. We have nitro crystals. We can do that. We have just enough to be able to make this. Natura pylons, though, are going to require 2 terrasteel ingots per pylon, right? And terrasteel, if you remember correctly, the way that we're making it currently is in our terrestrial agglomeration plate with Ingot of the Skies, Mana Quartz, Mana Pearl, Isnium, and Mana Diamonds. And it uses quite a lot of mana. If we were to switch over to the Mana Infuser, though, we could use we can use our terrestrial honeycombs. We have these being produced. That's not a big deal. But we can switch over and use this, and it's only 0.3 mana pools versus almost what is this? 1 whole mana pool, 2 mana pools, something like that. It's cheaper. Okay, this is half a mana pool. This is 0.3 mana pools. Cheaper for terrasteel. So we definitely want to go this route. In order to make the Mana Infuser, though, it is a celestial altar craft with all of this stuff. Now, all of this stuff, for the most part, we have, except for Glimmering Dreamwood. I can teach the system how to do that. That's fairly simple because we just taught the system how to make Dreamwood. So it now can make Glimmering just by adding some glowstone dust. Perfect. In order to do this, though, it is a celestial altar recipe, right? We are currently at iridescent altar. We need to upgrade to celestial altar. So how do we do so? Not too difficult. It's literally just this stuff here. And all of this stuff, the system knows how to make. So we're going to go ahead and kick it off. Pattern framed Dreamwood. I don't think that that's needed. Dreamwood. One of those recipes has something funky in it. Because I taught all these Dreamwood planks, Dreamwood spectral platform is framed. Oh, pattern framed Dreamwood. I didn't see that this was something. I didn't see it was something different. It literally looks exactly the same, except for the fact that it looks completely different there. But that's okay. There we go. So let's throw this into the crafter. Then we can request all the stuff for this. And then while that's all going to cook up, because it's going to take a few seconds to do, it's going to have to craft all this Tinker's Bronze and everything. We can talk about all this star metal that we have in our system. Because as you can see, this requires a block of star metal. And where do we get star metal? Well, you can get star metal from various sources. Star metal ore, if you remember, we've talked about this before. Star metal ore, we've been processing this out of our astral temple that we have somewhere around here, like over yonder. There's an astral temple over there, and all you got to do is throw it into your link it up with some iron ore and it converts over, or firmament, I believe it is in expert. Super simple. I was wondering why I'm like jumping super high. I didn't have hover turned on. However, that's how you create the ore. You can then break it down with a pickaxe and get a single ingot, or you can smelt it up and double it and everything. The advantage here, though, is it works inside of our massive fortunizer here. Hopefully that lag goes away. Bam. So if we look at star metal, I currently have 44 ingots. Let's see how much we get when I put all this stuff back in the system, because I already taught this how to pull star metal out. So I put all this star metal in there. It's going to start processing it, and we are going to get a ton of star metal. So from 64 star metal ore total, let's see how many we get. I want to wait until this finishes before we look and see where we're at. So it's this guy that's processing it right now. I imagine we're going to be getting tons, because I did this once and I got 16 ingots when I did it the one time. So yeah, we should be getting a lot of this. And then by the time this is done, our whole crafting process should be finished. Can you, yep, you're done. And 522. That is ridiculous. I like it. I don't even know if we're going to need any more star metal other than 522. That's a lot of star metal. So yeah. I like it. It's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. We could automate the production of the ore too if we needed to eventually, if we do end up needing more than 522. But I'm going to go ahead on a limb here and say we're not gonna. So let's grab our Tinker's Bronze. We're going to need to grab our star dust and the block of star metal. And I think it was 2 of those. Refined Radiance, Spectral Platforms. It's those and any sort of rock crystal. And we have one left. And it was the it's a Vanaheim rune. Thank goodness I taught the runes to the system all long ago. So we're going to go ahead and work on upgrading our altar. Now, the upgrade of the altar is going to require, once we get it upgraded here, it's going to require a tier. The bed is obstructed. What are these clouds doing here? It's you. For some reason, when this gets bottles in there, it likes to act weird. And then, like, I don't know. It should only get bottles in there, activate, and then turn into a cloud of bottle. But sometimes it ends up with a bottle cloud in its inventory. And it doesn't make sense how that even happens. Because there's nothing that's like, you know, there's no vacuum. That hopper. Oh, you know why? That's why. I guess the hopper's pointed to this deep slate brick. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. I was like, the hopper's pointed to the deep slate brick. And so it's not putting back into the modular router. So I don't understand. Maybe I should get a vacuum upgrade instead of this and just go that route. But we'll see. Hey, excuse me. No, off. There we go. Okay. So it's going to require an upgrade to our whole platform here once we get this going. We'll see exactly what that's going to cost. We're probably going to have to move our elevator, maybe temporarily, maybe permanently, probably permanently actually at this point, because I believe that's going to have to be special blocks because this extends out just a little bit now. But we'll get to it. So Celestial Altar is going to be all of this stuff. So we can go ahead and put it in there. And we can see we're actually pretty close to having enough light for this, or starlight. So we just got to let it, you know, build up just a hair more. And we're going to upgrade to Celestial tier. While that's doing that, let's grab some marble because I know we're going to need some. So let's grab some of this. Let's grab some of this. Let's specify Astral Sorcery. We'll grab some bricks, we'll grab some engraved, some pillars, some chiseled, some arches, just so I have it all on hand available to me. And we can now do the thing. This is going to convert over to Celestial and Astral Sorcery. Again, being one of the most beautiful mods in Minecraft, I generally like to watch the craft happen. It gets even crazier as we go on. Like you get nice fancy sound effects and all kinds of stuff. But as you can see now, our altar is invalid because again, we need to make some changes to this bad boy. So let's go ahead and do this. I already anchored this so we can see. I believe this is going to be sooty and then all of this is going to need to be torn down. Maybe I should just tear all of this down as is and then replace it. So let's get, man, I really don't want to get rid of my elevator, but let's go ahead. We're going to go ahead and we'll tear all this down, right? We'll leave the altar there, but we'll tear all of this stuff down and then just the copy paste gadget will rebuild it for us. It's not that big a deal. I just want to get all of these arches. That way I don't accidentally tear anything there down. There. Let's turn the jetpack on so when I tear this down, I don't go flying or falling. I do want to go flying. Okay, so now if I were to grab that last thing that I missed, and then we grab our copy paste and I paste, it should put everything into place. We're missing a few things here though. What are we missing? Our elevator is going to have to get moved, which is kind of a bummer because it's like literally perfectly lined up with everything there. What are those? That looks like regular marble. Did I not grab regular marble? I didn't. There we go. Bam. Now you're happy? Now it's happy. And we have a Celestial Altar. And now future upgrades aren't going to be as large, I believe. We just get some like arches that go up over the top and stuff like that. But we're not going to need to rearrange things anymore after this one. This is the last rearrangement recipe. If I'm remembering correctly, you go here, you go there. But now we have a Celestial Altar available to us, so we can do some celestial crafting, which is great because that's what we're going to need for our mana infuser. Do I have the capability to get all this stuff? I can make almost all of this. You're going to use, okay, I just want to make sure none of these runes are going to use my my stuff, the things that I need, the what's it called, the nitro thingies, the thingies. And then your glimmering dreamwood. So let's go ahead and control click, let it make everything that is going to be needed here. We are missing a Bifrost block. Okay. So one of these recipes is going to need a Bifrost block. Which one is you? Which one is you? That was great grammar there, TheAndrata. You, Bifrost block. You are going to be made with a rod of the Bifrost, which is this. And then Alf steel, Alf glass. Let's go ahead and request an Alf glass. This process is not going to be the easiest thing to do, though, to be honest with you, now that I think about it. Because making this is simple, like, right? Bam, we do this. But how do we automate this? Same way we've automated other things in the past here, crafter. So if we get a crafter, do I have any tier 1s floating around? I don't necessarily need all of that. Iron nuggets are missing. The system must not know how to make iron nuggets. Well, that's weird. I know I have all my nuggets being dumped out of the system, but like, I thought you knew how to make iron nuggets. That's okay. Let's make the one Bifrost block now, and then I'll teach the system how to do this. Because this doesn't have durability, it just makes these. We'll set a crafter up, external C, so that this stays in there. If we need this, it pumps Alf glass into it, outputs Bifrost blocks, we're good to go. So now I should be able to do this and request all the stuff. Perfect. That's what I wanted to see. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get Glimmering Dreamwood. Sorry, I just lost power for a second there. At least my screen shut off on my end. I don't know if y'all saw anything crazy happen, but that's a good wrapping up point. It's time to end this episode before we lose power. There's a massive thunderstorm going on outside. Anyway, let's not ruin my computer. If you enjoyed today's episode, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. I do appreciate it. It really does help out the channel. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.